I would like to reconvene this April 1st, 2019 meeting of the West Windsor Township Council. We've already found out we've been adequately noticed, and we've already called the roll. So would everybody join me in the salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we have a number of ceremonial matters today. The first one. Okay, so we're going to take the proclamation for World Autism Awareness first. And that's not the one I have. Do you have it?
No, one I read you.
Oh, all three. I found only two. All right, this is the shortest, so I'll read this one. Proclamation World Autism Awareness Day. Whereas Autism Speaks first opened its doors in 2005, helping advance our understanding and treatment of autism in ways unimaginable 10 years earlier, and whereas autism can be reliably diagnosed by age 2, Autism Speaks is redoubling efforts to increase early screening, especially in underserved communities. And whereas high-quality early intervention can change underlying brain development and activity if not delayed until grade school and beyond, and whereas Autism Speaks has successfully advocated for health coverage of behavioral health treatment, which is now the law in 38 states, and whereas families are now getting much-needed therapy that was once denied, and whereas each April 2nd, the international autism community celebrates the United Nations-sanctioned World Autism Awareness Day and kicks off Autism Awareness Month, now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of West Windsor Township, Mercer County, New Jersey, proclaim April 2nd as World Autism Awareness Day and April to be Autism Awareness Month. Autism Speaks represents many years of progress and a lifetime of hope. So thank you to all of you who do this.
And thank you for all of your support from all of us at Autism Speaks and all the families that we represent and help, because it means so much to so many.
Okay, would you like a photo op? I will come and give this to you if everyone will come along. I'll do the photo op.
You're the president.
No, I'm just the prop right now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, hold on. Of course, on video, that doesn't work very well. Here we go. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take care of it. I will do whatever I need to do.
I don't sit there anymore.
Which one is next?
Oh, either one. You have to go. Your choice.
Well, to go back to the order of the agenda, we can do proclamation for stigma-free. Mr. Mayor?
Whereas there is a proven connection between good mental health and overall personal health, and whereas mental illness affects almost every family in America, whereas people with mental illness recover if given the necessary services and supports in their communities, whereas people with mental illness make important contributions to our families and our communities, whereas millions of adults and children are disabled by mental illness every year, whereas only 1 out of 2 people with a serious form of mental illness seeks treatment for their mental illness, whereas stigma and fear of discrimination keep many who would benefit from mental health services from seeking help, whereas research shows that the most effective way to reduce stigma is through personal contact with someone with a mental illness, whereas good mental health is critical to the well-being of our families, communities, schools, and businesses, whereas greater public awareness about mental illness can change negative attitudes and behaviors toward people with mental illness. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Hemant Marathe, on behalf of West Windsor Township, do hereby call upon all West Windsor citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental illness, reducing stigma and discrimination, and promoting appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental illness.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Each month, we were visiting a different municipality throughout Mercer County. And a year ago, Mercer County Executive Brian Hughes started this campaign in May, and we have gone to each municipality, and hopefully by the end of this month, we'll hit each municipality in Mercer County, and we'll have been the only county who's visited each township in New Jersey. So while other counties also have a stigma-free campaign, they haven't had the success of visiting each municipality. So thank you, and your participation helps us.
Thank you to all of you who do to raise awareness of people.
And this is Michelle. She'd like to say just a few words if you don't mind.
Thank you so much for having us here tonight and for moving forward with this proclamation. As we enter year 2 of Stigma-Free Mercer, we're more acutely aware of how important it is that we look at how we talk to and about each other. We know that stigma operates internally and for people, and also very well for culture. And so we are really very concerned about how stigma functions as a barrier to accessing services. And in that regard, it can really perpetuate self-harm, right? That people aren't interested in a barrier to access service, that folks aren't getting their needs met, and self-harm can be a tremendously important issue. So thank you very much for having us here tonight and for your commitment to Stigma-Free Mercer.
Thank you for all you do, and the mayor will bring you your official proclamation. Thank you. The next proclamation is for the Distracted Driving 2019 crackdown. This is a proclamation supporting the 2019 You Drive, You Text, You Pay Distracted Driving crackdown, April 1st through 21st. Whereas distracted driving is a serious life-threatening practice that is preventable, and whereas distracting driving can result in injuries and deaths to all road users, motorists, pedestrians, and bicyclists. And whereas distracted driving occurs when drivers divert their attention away from the task of driving to focus on another activity instead. And whereas in 2015 alone, distracted driving-related crashes resulted in 3,477 deaths and 391,000 injuries on our nation's roads. And whereas in New Jersey, distracted driving was listed as a contributing circumstance in nearly 750,000 crashes between 2011 and 2015. And whereas the state of New Jersey will participate in the nationwide Distracted Driving 2019 crackdown from April 1st to 21st, 2019, in an effort to raise awareness and decrease driver distraction through a combination of enforcement and education. And whereas the national slogan for the campaign is "You drive, you text, you pay," and whereas a reduction in distracted driving in New Jersey will save lives on our roadways, now therefore be it resolved that West Windsor Township declares its support for the Distracted Driving 2019 crackdown, both locally and nationally, from April 1st to 21st, and pledges to increase awareness of the dangers of distracted driving. I'm looking forward to this. Do you want a photo op, or should I just hand this to you?
Council President, thank you. I know every member of the West Windsor Police Department is dedicated to this and every other campaign for our residents today, as we do every year. Thank you for the proclamation. You got it? I'll see you, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And next comes public comment.
I have Melissa Nagy signed up.
Good evening, Mayor, Madam President, and council members. My name is Melissa Nagy, and I'm the president of the West Windsor Police Benevolent Association, Local 271. I'm here this evening to address an issue that should concern every member of our community. On Monday, March 18th, 8 members of the West Windsor PBA, including Chief Garofalo, attended the Township Council meeting. All officers attending the meeting on their personal time and in casual attire. Respectfully, we sat and stood in the back of the room during the meeting and intently listened to each resident and Township representative speak. At the conclusion of the meeting, we entered the lobby and exchanged greetings with residents, Chief Garofalo, Mayor Marathi, and other Township representatives. Later that evening, I learned that Councilwoman Aisha Hamilton stated that she was intimidated by the off-duty officer presence at the meeting and chose to remain seated in the council room until all West Windsor PBA union members left. Councilwoman Hamilton went on to state she was afraid to walk to her vehicle while the off-duty police officers remained in the building. To my knowledge, Councilwoman Hamilton has never met or spoken with any of the officers that she accused of making her fearful. Within the 8 PBA members who attended the council meeting, there are 117 years of combined law enforcement experience and an exhaustive list of accommodations. We are fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters. We are just like the families we serve and protect. 3 of the members proudly served in our country's military, 2 having received Purple Hearts as combat-wounded veterans. None of the officers have ever had any confrontation, verbal or otherwise, with Councilwoman Hamilton. The officers who attended the meeting and I were grossly disappointed in the actions and chosen words of Councilwoman Hamilton. Her words are a direct attack on the professionalism and personal character of each officer she referred to, and undermine the valuable relationships we have built with the members of our community. Councilwoman Hamilton shares responsibility for enacting local ordinances as a member of the legislative body of municipal government. These are the very same laws and ordinances that we, as law enforcement, are obligated to enforce. Councilwoman Aisha Hamilton's actions perpetuate a prejudice that our West Windsor community cannot allow to go unquestioned. This biased, divisive retort fuels mistrust and fear of law enforcement and is a serious detriment to public safety. Our community deserves better than this hateful intolerance. We continue to make great strides unifying our community and cannot allow unfair negative stereotypes and misleading, narrow-minded preconceptions to go unchecked. These prejudices must be acknowledged and quelled. On behalf of West Windsor PPA Local 271, I'm requesting Ms. Aisha Hamilton's public apology and immediate resignation based on her obvious bias against law enforcement members and her blatant disregard for the impacts of slanderous statements perpetrate against the great law enforcement officers of our community. Thank you, and God bless America.
Allison, can I address that?
I think that under Robert's Rules of Order, point of personal privilege, you have the privilege of addressing that.
So I spoke last, when was it, March 18th meeting with our counsel, Mike Herbert, and our business administrator, Marlena Schmidt, questioning why these officers were in the room. I had been given to understand earlier in the meeting that they were in the room to make sure that I voted or I didn't question police expenses as I had at the prior meeting, and in fact requested that one of those police expenses be pulled off the agenda. Prior to that, during the budgeting sessions, which are all open and public, and I encourage everybody to view those, I had questioned several other police expenses that did not provide adequate backup, that didn't seem to relate to a plan that had been thought out. And yeah, I'm absolutely concerned that now it's the West Windsor Police Department versus me. That is upsetting. Thank you for making your views known. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be apologizing for, because I won't apologize for doing my job. I won't apologize for questioning the expenses where there was lack of information, where there was lack of thought. I'm sort of at a loss, but I guess we'll leave it at that. I'm certainly not resigning, though this, is certainly concerning. To address the other issue about me waiting here and feeling fearful, I actually never said that to anybody, so if that's part of the hyperbole, that's fine. You guys can run with it. Mike and Marlena can verify that I did not say that.
I can verify that you never said anything like that to me.
So I don't know where you got it from, but I will say that it's actually not relevant. In fact, I did walk out right after the meeting, so, but, thanks for raising your issues. Thanks for coming and speaking. But that doesn't give me a whole lot of comfort here, but thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else signed up? Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Seeing none, administration comments?
Just several announcements. Public Works crews are in Zone 1 picking up yard debris and leaf material on Saturday, April 13th, 2019, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Princeton Junction Firehouse. There will be a free rabies clinics. And the final announcement has to do with tomorrow and on April 9th. There are 2 more Tuesdays that remain from 9 a.m. to 12:45 p.m., whereby individuals who need assistance preparing their income tax returns for 2018 can do so by contacting the Senior Center at 609-799-9068. Individuals are asked to bring copies of their federal and state income tax returns, as well as all forms that they received in the mail from Social Security, their employer, pensions, banks, brokerage houses, summary of any medical expenses, charitable contributions, and information about their mortgage and real estate taxes. That's all I have.
Mayor?
Yeah, given that today is April 1st, I wasn't sure, I wasn't going to comment. I didn't know anybody would take it seriously. Given that it's April 1st and I always joke around April 1st. So anyway, nobody got that joke, so sorry. Anyway, today we are going to introduce my second budget, and I just want to thank all the council people for working very diligently through it and not making too many changes. So thank you very much.
Okay, council member comments. I'm just going to have to start at one end and go back to the other. I was very busy this weekend. Virginia, would you start?
Thanks, Allison. Just wanted to mention that West Windsor Gives Back is raising money this year for the Princeton Junction Volunteer Fire Company, and tickets for the Mayor's Ball are going to go on sale this coming Friday. So you can look for that on Facebook, and also we're trying to put something up on the website so people know where to get those tickets. The event is going to be Saturday, November 2nd from 6 to 10 p.m., so mark your calendar and look for tickets to become available on Friday. Thanks.
YZ?
I want to share maybe 3 personal journeys for the last couple of weeks. Now, one is more on the negative side. I had an accident 2 weeks ago because of texting and driving. I was involved in an accident. Thankfully nobody got hurt and everything. So I think this is timely, and I'm learning my own lesson through this whole process. And I'm not going to look at the phone going forward. So, and this is a good proclamation that we remind the public to be mindful and never ever text or look at the phone while driving. So that's more negative, but. On the more positive side, I went to a business trip and conference. That's why I missed one of the council meetings last time. It was more on the AI and machine learning business, because I'm getting involved in startups in that area. So I think this is the area I'm not only personally interested in it, but also I believe this is the area of the growth of the future. We need to really think about how we can take advantage of the time and work together in our township to promote that. I've been talking to some of the technologists in the area, and I'm thinking to organize something like the forum focus on the machine learning and AI in that topic. So that's, again, my personal interest, but I think it lines up with our local economy nicely. And thirdly, I was invited to a seminar, a conference. It's called the Social Justice, Faith, Diversity, and Hope, organized by a nonprofit organization in Princeton University. I was given the privilege to be the closing speaker, and I was also given the chance to sing 2 songs at the end of it to wrap up the event. So I have to say I learned a lot through the conference, learned at a deeper level how we together can truly break down the walls and talk to one another at a deeper level, at a heart-to-heart level. So a lot of the things that we think other peoples are doing this, by certain things, but a lot of the assumptions are sort of breaking down if and when you talk to them heart-to-heart. So I would encourage all the communication should be at more personal level and not to make a quick judgment and jump to conclusions. I think that's the way. My talk in particular is called Breaking Down the Walls. How can we all overcome the either conscious or subconscious or bias, right? So because each and every one of us grow in our own circle of family, friends, and everything, so we each of us look at the sky through our own tunnel. and we need to open that up and understand other people's vision and angle, and so that we can become a better communicator and better citizens all working together in, more united. So I just want to share these 3 experiences for the last 2 to 3 weeks, I think. And I hope, again, on the second note, I hope we can build our West Windsor community into a future high-tech hotbed in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda?
I attended the West Windsor Arts Council annual fundraiser, the gala, a couple of weekends ago, and it was a lot of fun. Certainly, if you're looking for your children to do something creative this summer, they have plenty of courses for the children there, even for adults too. So I highly recommend, signing up for that, and I think the kids will have a lot of fun. University of South Carolina student from Robbinsville was murdered. I guess it was probably over the weekend. Very, very sad story, and certainly all of our condolences go out to that family. Apparently got into an Uber. She called for an Uber, thought she was getting into the Uber car, and it wasn't an Uber car. And, a tragedy happened. So, always advise, young kids, whether high school, college age, they're in their 20s, they go out, sometimes they stay out late, stick together with somebody. Don't get into the car alone, because tragedies happen. It's very sad, so. Okay.
Councilwoman, if I may, there is a candlelight vigil at the Robbinsville Town Center. It's where the gazebo is, at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, if anyone's interested in going.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Wonderful family from Robbinsville.
Yeah.
She was ready to go to law school.
Drexel, yeah.
Thank you. Aisha?
Thank you for,
I'm sorry, tomorrow night, I
Tomorrow.
apologize, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
I thought that's what you said. Sorry.
thank you, Allison. I think I used my 3 minutes earlier. I'm good.
I also attended the convention that YZ attended. It was put on by La Convivencia. They have come and spoken in front of this body, explaining their mission to bring people together. They are named after a time when Spain was Al-Andalus, and Muslims, Christians, and Jews very often got along very well, and it was a flourishing of art and science and literature. And I think everybody learned something about other people's points of view at that convention. I recommend La Convivencia highly. Next Saturday, at 10 o'clock, Friends of West Windsor Open Space will be holding a Clarksville Road cleanup. We will meet at the office park that you get to on the right just before the bridge. And we will clean up this place that is an introduction to West Windsor. Anyone is welcome to join us. Bring boots, it's likely to be wet, long pants, bug spray, and have fun making West Windsor a better place. Also, we get state money for cleaning up, so give us your name and address when you show up, and we'll get paid. You won't, but Friends of West Windsor Open Space will. And that's all I have.
I have one announcement. I want to announce that starting today, the candidate packets for the 3 council seats that will be up the end of this year are available in the clerk's office. You can receive them by calling my office or sending me an email. The information is on the website.
Okay, thank you. We next have public hearings.
Okay. 2019 07R, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of West Windsor, 1999, to create an RP12 district.
Before we have the public hearing, we have to vote on some modifications made by the Planning Board. Jerry, since you're here, would you like to read the modifications for 2019-07R?
Yeah, certainly, and none of them are substantial. And I think Mike would agree with that.
We've reviewed them and they're de minimis in nature, so therefore no renotice is required.
Right. The first one was simply correcting some dates in the description of the zoning map. To make, it was originally 2018, that became 2019. And then there was a May 23, 2009 date that we wanted to update because actually the zoning map was modified on March 18, 2019. Then in a description, in a section, I think it dealt with sidewalks, it said the America with Disabilities Act, when rather than Americans with Disability Act. And then lastly, and this would be on page 11 of your packet, page 5 of the ordinance, a section with respect to the fence, a solid fence that needs to be built along the rail line, because this site, which is behind the Ellsworth, is along the rail line, was basically reworded. So it now reads as amended, a section of the code is amended to allow a solid fence or wall serving as a sound barrier 10 feet high. Such a fence or wall is only required along a portion of the property line between the building or buildings and the railroad tracks. Any fence or fences are constructed along the railroad serving as a sound barrier with a citation to block and lot as a sound barrier should not be considered a structure. So it was really clarifications more than anything else.
And also, Section 200-272B8A4, delete the last sentence and add, did you say that? That's on the next page.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was all part of that.
Section 200-272B11B, change surrounding to contiguous.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew there was one you skipped.
Do we need to make any of that available to the public, or
I think that
for the purposes of the hearing?
since it's not, as Jerry had said, since it's not substantial, we have just made it available to the public. But we do need a motion to amend, what?
Doing great.
We need a motion to amend as just outlined.
So moved.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote?
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Now we will have a public hearing on the amended, very slightly unsubstantially amended ordinance. Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Next.
2019-08R, an ordinance amending the redevelopment plan for Princeton Junction by adding a new RP12 district.
Again, we have some unsubstantial amendments. Jerry, would you like to read them?
Yeah, and what this ordinance is, it basically has the same text as the other ordinance. This amends the redevelopment plan, the other one amended the code. A lot of towns don't do that, they just have one, and they have the redevelopment plan, which is somewhere. But we were afraid that if we didn't amend the code, it would be much harder accessing what the regulations were within the redevelopment area. So that's why there are two ordinances. And the changes are exactly the same. American to Americans for the Americans with Disability Act in Section 5. Then with respect to the RP12 intensity bulk and other regulations, we had exactly the same change as well, which is actually, on your page, looks like 18 to me, right towards the bottom, and under H1D, it's exactly the same language that I just read a moment ago with respect to the other ordinance. And then the last change, again, as Allison pointed out, from surrounding to contiguous in section K2, which is on page 20 of your packet.
Thank you. So I need a motion to amend as outlined by Jerry.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes?
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. So I'd like to open the public hearing on the slightly amended ordinance. Anybody have anything to say? Seeing no comment, motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes?
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes?
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yes, thank you, and thank you to the planning board for all their comments.
That's the whole set of affordable housing ordinances all passed.
Yep, all 11.
Okay, consent agenda.
2019 R072, reimbursement of on-premise merchandise raffle license to Joshua Shane Foundation for $20. 2019 R073, refund of overpaid taxes. 2019 R074, authorizing the request by Scott Tom Derzinski for a 100% disabled veteran exemption and allowing the tax collector to refund the amount of $3,873.62 and to cancel all subsequent taxes per state statute 54-3-30. February 19th, 2019, business session as amended. February 27th, 2019, special business session as amended. And March 4th, 2019, business session as amended, bills and claims.
Would anybody like to remove anything from the consent agenda? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes?
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Recommendations from administration?
2019 R075, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a professional service agreement with Center State Engineering for surveying and engineering design services for the annual road improvement program 2018 for $40,000. 2019 R076, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a professional service agreement with Van Cleef Engineering for surveying and engineering design services for Village Road East reconstruction project for $42,700. 2019 R077, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a professional services agreement with Van Cleef Engineering for engineering and surveying and engineering design services for the Alexander Road Reconstruction Phase 4 project, $28,700. 2019 R078, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Mercer Area District of the Washington Crossing Council Troop 40 to continue to use one bay at the Skank Farmstead from January 1, 2019 to December 31, 2019. 2019 R079, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute an amendment to the agricultural lease agreement with Everett Brothers LLC to add the newly acquired Hall property. 2019 R080, certification of compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's in accordance with NJSA 40A 4-5. 2019 R081, authorizing local examination of the 2019 budget.
Anybody like to pull anything for discussion? Seeing none, do I have A motion for 2019 RO 75 through 81.
So moved.
Second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yep.
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Introduction of ordinances.
2019-13, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank.
Public hearing will be on the 29th. So do I have a motion to introduce?
I move to introduce.
Second.
Well, when we get to public comment, you will. We had a motion and a second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Additional public comment?
It's not,
Please stand and
we're still at
speak.
budget introduction. We still have one more.
Oh, we have the public, okay. It said, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You have another minute. We have to introduce our budget. I'm sorry. That is my fault.
I thought you approved it too. I was wondering
I was-
why it happened.
I thought I fell asleep. Okay, 2019 budget introduction.
Does anybody want to say anything at this point about the 2019 budget? Or do you just want to have a motion to introduce?
Move to introduce.
Second. Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Now public comment.
Okay, now public comment. I'm sorry. I didn't highlight it. It's my fault.
Is your mic on? No, there's,
Now it is. 22 Winwood Drive. So I was disappointed to see that there was going to be an increase in the in the local taxes, particularly in a year where we can't deduct our state and local taxes. I was surprised that this was the year where there was going to be an amendment to increase the taxes. It's almost April 15th, we're all getting hit with this significant reduction, and then in our ability to deduct, and then to have an increase was concerning. I don't think it's been transparent, so I think if we need to better understand as residents what the increase is for. And I also think that I'm personally not comfortable with the difference between 2.5% and 3% at whose discretion. Just, we're getting taxed and then there's a pot, and nobody gets to vote and understand on what this cap, what comprises this increase in spending. So I know it's not until April 29th, Allison tells me, but I do think that there should be broad communication that the local taxes are going to be increased. It's going to make it very difficult I think it's going to hurt our housing prices. I think New Jersey in general is being hurt by the inability to deduct the entire state and local tax base of this, of the city and the state. And I think you should continue to make sure that all residents are aware that the budget will be a budget increase on April 29th. That's my point.
Thank you.
So I just leave it there. There's no discussion.
can I just respond a little bit?
But if the mayor would like to respond, yes.
You will not get any argument from me saying taxes in New Jersey are too high, although I'm responsible for them for last 15 years. That is very true. But the cap ordinance, you're commenting on the cap ordinance. See, today, as they introduce the budget, we still don't know what the tax rate is going to be next year. The way municipal and school taxes work is either the school board or the municipal body comes up with the total budget, the total spending they expect and the total revenues they expect. The difference between them is raised through taxes. That amount is divided between all taxpayers based on assessment, total assessments in the township. As of today, we still don't know what the total assessment of the West Windsor Township is because the county hasn't approved the assessment yet. So if you ask me today what your tax rate would be next year, I can't tell you.
Right,
I'll explain what the ordinance is about. The state allows the township to increase taxes by maximum 2% every year. If we don't increase it by 2% that year, and then there are some exceptions for certain items are excluded from those 2%. If we don't increase the taxes in any particular year by that amount, the state allows us to bank that unused tax portion for a couple of years. And that's just a planning tool. We have always banked, since I've been on council for last 3 years, I've been on either council or mayor, we have always banked, which is a good news and bad news. Good news is that means the township never increased the taxes to the maximum that they could have increased. That's why we have cap left. And that's just a planning tool, just in case in future we absolutely need it, it is there.
So, thank you. I am aware of that, but thank you. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been flat for the last few years, or not?
What is flat? Taxes?
You made your budget the last year, was 20.
No, I see the budget, the total expenses, if you look at, it's increasing less than 2%. Part of the problem in New Jersey is how the aid is given to, we are considered rich town, so how the aid is distributed by Trenton. And I would be lying to you if I tell you magically I can reduce taxes. I mean, there needs to be a much broader discussion as to how services are funded in New Jersey.
I know, but it is a year where we're getting screwed with at the federal level, and so it just seems like an inappropriate time to increase the local taxes. And I would strongly encourage all of you to make sure that every resident is aware so that they can come prepared to discuss this on April 29th or whatever the date is.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we can try as a township to make sure that the news gets out. But I think the projected increase in municipal taxes is lower than it's been in the last few years, if it is the projected half cent. Is that your memory too, Marlena?
Yes, it is.
Is there anything, Marlena, you'd like to add to what the mayor said?
No.
Okay, thank you. So, council reports. Aisha?
No.
Linda?
No, the planning board had met on March 27th, and the council had sent the 2 ordinances that we just approved. So the planning board reviewed those ordinances, came up with some recommendations for changes, which the council accepted and incorporated into the ordinances that we just approved.
Thank you. Wisey?
I lost track of last time I went to the school board meeting, but they are also discussing the budget. So I informed them that we're in the process of doing so as well. We'll have a meeting with them at some point to look into their budget, and then, and obviously, the money comes from our pockets. But we'll be talking to them going forward. Yeah.
Virginia?
So the Rec Commission will be meeting this Wednesday, but I just want to encourage everybody to register for summer programs. There are a lot of new and exciting things going on this year, so check that out on the website. Parking Authority, we haven't had a meeting since our last council meeting, but just wanted to remind everybody that the food truck event is going to be September 15th. And Emergency Management Council met last week, and we met over at the West Windsor Fire Company, and 43 got their new brush truck that we council had approved last year, and I got to go out and see that shiny new fire truck, and it was pretty cool, and I got actually a little tour of all of their equipment, which was great.
Thank you. The Affordable Housing Committee will be meeting this Thursday. I believe that it is April 30th that the school board has invited the mayor and council to dinner and to a special presentation about their budget. That's all I have. Administration updates?
I have none.
Mayor, do you have an update?
Nope.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We're adjourned.